So hello guys, Kowalski back here, and I'm very excited to present you these games. Actually, it's only this position, but I'm very glad to tell you about my experience at a tournament last Saturday. So now I'm gonna pull up the standings really quickly, so hopefully you can all see this very good. Now, as you can see here in the 20. Second spot, I'm actually tied for 16th, and I won the best. I won first place for the non-rated category, so because I don't have elo yet, as I told you in previous videos, but I was actually tied for the last place in the under 18 category, and also tied for 16th place, but had worse tie breaks. Now and this is actually a game that I had in round 2. Round 1, I had, I was very nervous. I had a lot of insecurities about the first round, and sadly I lost that round, and it was a pretty disappointing loss, but more of a reality check. So I went into round 2, and this position arrived in round 2, and if you didn't solve it yet, I will solve it at the end of the video. But after the round 2 win, I got into a game that lasted half an hour, and this is very surprising because the time format is actually 15-minute rapid plus 3 seconds increment. So that game lasted pretty long, and I had a draw, but with 10 seconds on the clock I missed the tactic to get the draw, and I ultimately lost that game. But from that game on, I didn't lose a single game for the rest of the tournament. I drew the fourth round, and after that we took a break for lunch, and then I also drew the game after the lunch break. Drew another game after that. Those draws were, some of them were boring, like simply d4, d5 and stuff like that. Other draws were more exciting, but ultimately I was able to win the 6th round and draw the 7th, win the 8th, draw the 8th and win the last round. Now this is a puzzle from round 2. I'm playing with the black pieces as the board is flipped, and it's black to move and win. Now the thing is, the position previously was something like this. So I maneuvered my bishop back, and my opponent didn't she didn't realize my tactic that I had in this position. So why I maneuvered this bishop from d5 to f7 and to g6 is to eliminate this powerful knight. And now she played very passive, and she she didn't see that if I take this knight, I'm gonna have a tactic. Now the thing is, I screwed up the setup, so it's black to move actually. Now I took the knight, and she took with the rook, but there's no other better option. For example, I'm loading the engine right now. Here the best thing is f takes on e4, but the thing is she took with the rook. Now the position is 0-0, but here comes the tactic. Bishop takes on a3, and now what you have to play, but this is, if you don't play c4 in this position, you're lost. After this c4, there are maybe some tactics with bishop captures. Actually, no, there are no tactics with bishop captures because you can capture with the queen. So in this position, you would have to just come back with the knight, and then maybe b takes a3, knight takes e4, f takes e4, and queen takes a3 check. And this position would arise, which is better for black, but it's definitely playable. This pawn is very weak. You have to protect it, and you can hold this position with white, let's say. But what my opponent played, in this position, she was pretty low on the clock, and she panicked in this position, and she simply played rook takes on e5. But this is now completely losing. because of the next tactic. So bishop takes on b2, king takes on b2 was played, because if you don't play king takes on b2, let's say if you go to b1, it's simply mate in 1, queen a1 is mate. But if you go, for example, to d1, then simply knight to f3, oh sorry, knight to c3, and your king has no squares. You have to give up the queen, and after you give up the queen, this is actually a forced mate in like 13 moves or something like that. I didn't see the forced mate in 13 moves, but you know, you can try to capture the rook, for example, but this is still losing, because you know I have this queen for a knight and the rook, but the knight is very passive, and I have back rank threats and stuff like that. But in the game, I simply she took the bishop, and then I took the rook. Sorry, first I delivered this check. You have to go to b1 now. Rook e5 is mandatory, because if you give this check with the knight and win the queen, now you lose the rook. Yes, now you lose the rook, and now the situation is not clear, because although this knight is very passive, your opponent has rook and 2 pieces for the queen, and you only have, I mean, you don't even have a pawn advantage. You only have this nice passed a pawn. So in this position, I had to play rook takes on e5 first, and she resigned in this position because I mean there's nothing more to be done here. But if you capture the rook, then you get knight c3 check, and you get this, and now I mean I have a queen for 2 pieces with a very passive knight, and you've got to be careful. For example, you cannot even take this pawn. Now rook d6, and you're getting mated. You're not getting mated right away, but you get the point. You get the point. I infiltrate with the queen. Now there's no stopping the king is too open. So I won this very nice game in the second round, and this really gave me a boost. I managed to finish the tournament with 2 losses, 3 wins, and 4 draws. I mean, granted, some of those draws were very boring, just like e4, e5, or something like that. For example, I'm just gonna reset the board, and I'm gonna present you like a game that I played. This is very boring stuff. 4 knights with the bishops out, something like that you know ultimately we traded, or something else that we played. My opponent, you know, played d4. We went for this, and this resulted in a very boring draw. Now it was kind of like those grandmasters draw that you see in recaps, like Levy's recap, or maybe some of the games that Agat Mator shows. But this is it. And just to clear one more thing, the thing that you see on the thumbnail is actually currency in my country, which is equivalent to 10 euros, and that's what you see on the thumbnail. So hopefully you guys enjoy this experience. Stay motivated. Don't be sad with your chess if you don't win the first tournament. Keep trying. And this was Kowalski. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm out.